Hi there, this is Mar Haddad here again. So in this lecture we have to continue securing the physical threads on the MikroTik router, and in this lecture we are going to do a lab to show you how you can secure the LCD and the console port. So some of the routers, they have an LCD screen, and this is something you can see it on the router in the front panel. And this LCD screen, you can either make some changes on the configuration from the LCD screen by touching it and making some changes, or you can do some monitoring. So that's really a threat, because anyone could come to the router if you leave it like it is, and then he can make changes to our router, and that's something we don't want. That's a very bad vulnerability if you leave it as it is by default. So some of the routers which have like LCD screen are the CCR routers. And there is also the RouterBOARD 2011. It has also an LCD screen, and I'm not sure if some other routers that MikroTik have with an LCD screen. So that's one of the things we have to fix that. The second thing that we need to do is to disable the console port. So if we are not going to use the console port, meaning putting a console cable to the console port to be able to log into the command line, because most of our work is gonna be on the Winbox. But MikroTik also give you a possibility that you use a console cable, which is a rollover cable, and you put it on the console port then to your computer, then you can have command line. So anyone who has a console port and can bring it with a computer and connect to your router, he will be able to get access to your router. So if you don't need the console port, you should disable that port. And again, that port is used for management. So I'm going to show you how you can make the port disabled for the console port. For this lab, I'm going to use another router, and I'm going to use the CCR 1036 router, which is an expensive router because it has LCD screen and it has also a console port. The router which I have, the hub AC light, doesn't have an LCD screen and a console port. That's why for this lab I'm going to use a special router to be able to do my work. So as you can see here, we have a lab of 5 ports. Let's start directly with the first port. Port number 1, log into the MikroTik router, and then I will do port number 2, change the pin number of the LCD to 5384 on the command line. So what is the pin number? The pin number is just a pin that you write it when you want to get access to the LCD screen. And guess what? The default pin number that is on MikroTik is 1234. So anyone who can go to Google and search what is the default pin number on the MikroTik router, he can find that it is 1234. Then he put that pin, and then he can access to the LCD screen, and then he can change some configuration or see some configuration. So the first thing that you should do is to change the pin number to another number that is not guessable, that no one knows about it. So let's do that to show you how you can do it. So here they say you have to do it from the command line. I'll show you how you can do it on the Winbox, of course, and then also on the command line. Let's go to the MikroTik router. So you can see this MikroTik router is an CCR 1000, actually it's 1072 with 72 core CPUs. That's a very expensive router, and it's running on the version 7. Very good. Now you can see here it has the LCD. This is the LCD. So you see now the LCD is not enabled by default, but if you want you can just enable it for now. And here is the pin. Look at the pin. The pin, I'm not sure if it shows the password. Yes, here we go. You see 1234. That is the default pin number on the LCD screen, which we really don't want that. All right, so we don't want that. So let's change it. So of course, if you want to change it from here, you can know how to do it. You just go to here, pin, and put the number you want, and then you say, okay, that's straightforward. But let me show you how you can do it from the command line. So let's go to the command line for the terminal, and from here we can say LCD. You can make the tab so you can see what is the next command that you have to write. Then you can say pin, and then you can say set, and then you have this one, pin number, and now you can put the number. So what is the number they said that we should use? 5384. So 5384. All right, very good. So now if I say LCD pin print, here we go. We see that the pin number now is 5384. If you want, we can justify that also from here. You can go, you see it is 5384. So this is the first thing. If you want to use the LCD screen, you see that by default the LCD screen here was disabled. So yeah, they don't want to use it at all, so they just disable it completely. But if you want to use it, you can enable it, but just change the pin number. And then no one will guess what is your pin, or let's say it will be very difficult for them to guess what is the pin number. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, they can guess it very fast. But while doing that, changing the pin number, then they will not be able to guess it. Point number 1 and 2 are done. Point number 3, for security reason, hide the pin number. What does it mean? So once you write the pin number on the LCD screen, if you put 5384, if someone is sitting behind you, you can see the numbers. It will show on the LCD screen. So what you need to do, you have to hide it. That means when you write it, you will not be able to see what you are writing. So think of like when you go to an ATM machine to withdraw some money. So over there, when you put your PIN code of your card, of the bank card, then it will not show on the screen. So sometimes it shows like stars, or maybe it will not show anything at all. So that's why it's very important also to hide your PIN number. So putting PIN number is very good. So just changing it to a new PIN number is good, but also hiding it. And that's something we can look at it here. When I made LCD pin print, you can see that hide pin number is no. So it's not hiding the pin number. And if you want, you can go to the LCD. You can see on the pin over here, this hide pin number is unchecked. So if you want to do it from here, you just check it and then say, okay, then the pin code will be hidden. If you want to make it from the command line, so let's put this here because we are going to check it in a moment. So from the command line, you have to say LCD pin, and then over here you have to say set, and then you say hide pin number equal yes. So I want to hide it. All right, now once you do that, if you go back to the pin now, you can see that hide pin number has been checked. So this way also you are securing, if you want to use the LCD screen, that the pin number, when you write it, it's not showing up on the screen, so someone can see it if he is sitting behind of you. Point number 3 is done. Point number 4, after some months you decided to make better security on the LCD, so you wish to use it for monitoring only. So as I have explained to you, from the LCD screen you can do some basic configuration, but also you can do the monitoring. So say that you don't want to make any write. That means you don't want to make any changes of the configuration from the LCD screen, but you just want to use it for monitoring. So if you don't want to go to Winbox to monitor, you can just go there, you can do some basic monitoring from the LCD screen. So we have to disable everything, which is configuring from the LCD screen, making configuration, and only to make it to monitor. So how to do that? If we go back to here and we go again to the LCD screen, over here to the LCD configuration actually, and over here you can see you have this one, read only mode. If you just check it, read only mode, and you say okay, then this LCD screen will be only for read only. Now how to do it from the command line? So here we have to say LCD, and then we have to say at this moment we should use the set, and then we can look to that one. You see read only mode, so set read only mode, and then equal yes. Once you do that, now if we go again to the LCD, you can see that this has been checked. This way we are using the LCD screen, which is on the MikroTik router, only for reading and monitoring. That's it. Port number 4 is done. And the last point is to disable the console port. Again, remember that the console port is a port which you use with it a console cable, we call it, or rollover cable, where we connect it to the MikroTik router and then we connect it to our computer, then we can do the configuration on the command line. Alright, so if we are not going to use the console port at all. So we're not going to connect to the console. Why should we leave this open? Because anyone has a console cable with his computer, then he can connect, and then he may be able to come into our MikroTik router. Of course, he should know also the username and password. But yeah, we are giving him a gate to be able to access our MikroTik router. So that means that if we are not ever going to use the console port, we should disable it. Now, before I do the console port, the LCD is finished. All right. So that's all what I wanted to show from the LCD screen on the MikroTik. Now, how to disable the console port? We go to here, and also this router, CCR router, has a console port. The hub AC light doesn't have a console port. That's why we are also going to work on this router. So here we can go to system, and we can see we have the console, you see? And here we go. This is the console port. It is serial to RJ45. So if you want to disable it from here, you just come to here and then you say disable. So you are disabling the console port. That's from the Winbox. Let me show you how you can do that also from the command line. So from the command line, if we go to the system, and then we go console and we say print, we can see that this is the serial 0 is showing up over here. Number 0 is very important. So this is because we only have one console port on the MikroTik router, then it gives the number 0. 0 means only one. If you had 1, that means it is 0, 1. That means you have 2 ports. That's how MikroTik router works. So we do have only one port, which is serial 0. It has this number. This number is very important to remember it if you want to disable the console port from the command line. So let me show you how you can do that. So you have to say system, console, and then you say here set, and then disable, and then here you can say yes, and enter. Now it asks you what number you want to do the disable for. This is the number 0, as I told you. And then enter. And look, you see directly this, so the console port is now disabled. So this is how you can do it from the command line. You have first to make the print to see what is the number. It's always 0 anyway. So you don't have to make this comment that I have showed you over here. It's not that important because most of the time or all the time you have the console only one port, one console port on the MikroTik router, which has this number 0. So you just say system console set disabled equal yes, you put the number 0, and then this console port has been disabled. Port number 5 is done, and with this port I have showed you how you can make your changes on the MikroTik router for the LCD screen. So how you can first, how you can enable it. If it's not enabled, how you can change the pin number, how you can hide the pin number. And also I have showed you how you can make the LCD to be only for monitoring, for read-only mode. Then I have showed you that the MikroTik router can have a console port, and I showed you how you can disable the console port from the Winbox and from the command line. So this is all what I wanted to show you about the physical threads. So that's most of the things that you can do for physical thread. Of course, there are some other things that also you have to think about it. Let's say if you want to put the control room where you are going to put the MikroTik router in, so be careful that it doesn't have a window, for example, someone jumping from the window to come inside. It's not the control room, for example, under there is a floor over this control room where there is, for example, some water pipe or there is a toilet over there. You better not do that, because if there is any leaking, then the water can come inside. You have always to be sure that you have very good humidity, you have very good temperature. So putting an air condition, so to allow the router to not being heating a lot. So all of those factors you have also to think of them, like environment factors, like location of the control room, closing the control room with some authorized people getting inside. They have to put some code to be able to get inside the control room. All of those things, like putting cameras also, you have to put that in mind when you want to make a very good physical security on the MikroTik router. So I hope that this lecture and the whole section was informative for you, and I will see you in the upcoming lecture.